Hello and welcome to another Ancient Minecraft video. I think this is number 3 in the series. Just to quickly catch you up, we are 3500 BC, roughly between 3500 and 3000 BC, so over 5000 years ago. And this is my attempt to reconstruct Stonehenge, starting first of all with the landscape around it. Now today I mostly want to talk about barrows. Now if you go to the source of everything on the internet that's true, which is Wikipedia, a barrow is simply a mound of earth or stones that has been raised up over a grave. And there are loads, I mean, if you ever get the chance to actually visit Stonehenge, there are loads of barrows around. If you stop looking at the stones and start looking at the horizons around, almost everywhere you can see are these funny grassed over lumps in the earth, and they're all barrows. And Long Barrows especially were probably multiple graves where lots of people were buried. So you may notice I've set the time to night time. So it's now nice and dark. I've got a lovely mod installed called Dynamic Lights. So if I pick up my torch, I can actually see. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you I've built a barrow off camera, as it were, because I figure there's enough videos out there of people building wooden things. And I've got some bones. I've got the bones of my ancestors in my hands, and I'm going to approach the barrow to put them down. And I thought I'd do it this way because ancient man had a real sense of the dramatic. Lots of what he built was like almost optical illusions, almost like he was having fun with you, like things that appear and disappear. So this is the barrow. I'm just approaching it now. I've taken away all the torches. I can just about see the entrance. And it is a place of the dead. There are the ditches and the measuring posts from last time. And there are skulls, because this is a grave. This is a place where we put the dead. And we go in. There's a long entryway, and I've left the torches on in here so it doesn't get too dark. And here we are. Apologies if this is a bit spooky for our younger viewers. And I've put little shelves here with skulls. There's a couple of Steve heads there because you would have put... this is where they would have left. I'll pick up my bone now. Now let's see if I can make this land in the right place. No, it's going to be a bit tricky this, and I'm going to pick them up by mistake as well. Oh, there's a bone up there. There we go. And now let's pick up some of these bones and have another go. And nope, it's disappeared. Oh, okay. Oh, we picked up a skull as well somewhere. We can actually place a skull down. Now, the ancient Stone Age man were fascinated with bones. When they dig into barrows, I'm just going to wander outside for a minute. When archaeologists dig into barrows, they find lots of bones, and there are some stone barrows that have survived, not made of wood like this one. And often they find that the bones have kind of been grouped. So rather than there being like, Fred over here and George over there and, whole skeletons, they'll find a great big pile of leg bones. And then in another chamber they'll find a great big pile of skulls or a great big pile of arms. It's really quite strange. Now, I'll just give you a quick tour around the outside of this barrow. I've designed this frontispiece like this mainly on the basis of things like near Stonehenge there's a stone-built barrow that's obviously survived called West Kennet Long Barrow, and that has this big stone front like this with a big kind of apron. So you can imagine, if you're doing a proper funeral and if I could have spawned in some villagers, you'd probably have a big crowd of people here all saying goodbye to the dead. As I say, the barrows around Stonehenge are just piles of earth. Some of them have bones, flints, gold objects even from the Bronze Age. But there's no hint as to what the structures would have looked like, so I have just kind of made it up as I went along, really. Not exactly made it up, it's more of an educated guess. I put this long passage in here because other Neolithic sites from around this time tend to like having these long passages. There's a place in Ireland called Newgrange where there's a long passage that only catches the sun at the winter solstice. There's another one of those at Maze How, but as I say, nobody really knows what was under these earth mounds before they started. I'm just kind of making it up as I go along, educated guesses. And then again from West Kennet there is a chamber at the end. I'm just going to run down here. And the chamber is kind of divided almost like a stables into stalls. And like I say, they had different bones in different areas. I didn't really have the space to do that here, so I just kind of made it with shelves so you've got different areas to put things down. If we go back outside, one thing I noticed when I built this, and this is quite interesting because it actually shows you what it would have been like back in the day, is that my lovely ditches that I made actually filled up with animals. You get like aurochs and um, sheep and deer and things. Now, this might be my, 21st century self thinking, but that didn't feel very kind of sacred or special. So what I did was, again, using World Edit, I just put a fence down each side and built it up a little bit, so that now it really is. And also that has the interesting side effect that, wherever you approach this area from, we're now going out to the east. Oh, there's a bear. I need to fix the bear. Out to the east, you can't get anywhere. The only way you can now approach it is to come round the edge of the ditch, and then you actually see this proper facade, which is quite nice. So now what I am going to do, I've got grass blocks. Let me just pick up some dirt as well, because we have no idea, as I keep saying, what exactly would have been here. They might have just left it in wood, but there's more of a feeling, oh god, it's dark, isn't it? I forgot it's still night time. That they would have buried it, and there is a chance they would have like half buried it first. And because we've got this big kind of apron, I might just drop into World Edit for a bit. And because we've got this big kind of apron out the front, that kind of acts as a natural block. So if I just keep on burying it, we can see what it would look like with a bit more earth everywhere. Let's do a copy and paste just for fun. We'll just select this earth bank here. We'll go kind of, nerd pole copy and paste. That would be awesome. Right, here we go. / copy. Now if I look down and I nerd pole. Now in theory, if I do / paste, boff. Can I get that to work a second time? And as you can see, we're starting to bury it. Now, if we go up to this end and now select the whole bank, we can... I wonder if I can put it on the other side. Let's have a quick go at a copy and paste. We'll put hpos2 up there. Now, I'd better stand near a landmark, like by the corner of this, and copy it. And learn to type. And then we'll just go around to here. This might go horribly wrong. I didn't really rehearse this bit, so we will just paste. Yeah, I thought that was going to happen. So, oh look, the sun's coming up now, that's nice. So yeah, this would have all been buried. Actually, I could just keep, if I put an hpos2 in there, and then if I copy, and if I go back about 1 square, and then we can really start to see how it would have looked being buried. And again, we'll now start again, and we'll just do an hpos1. And when you're not watching, I'll go back and I'll probably bury it all. But you now start to actually get the impression of how this would have looked on the landscape as a massive pile of earth. And this is indeed what they look like. They just look like these huge piles of earth. Now we'll go back another square and try not to fall in the ditch. I knew that was going to happen. And then no, okay, so we'll copy it a bit closer in so we don't fall in the ditch. And we'll go back a square. And there you can start to see, especially if we start to now manually, we'll deselect that as well so we don't get the wireframe. And you can see already it's starting to grass over, but this is what it would have looked like. Just fill in the gaps where it's all a bit... And that's probably is what they would have seen, because I kind of imagine that... I wonder if we've still got the copy buffer. Let's just try... Yeah, that's looking right. Oh, no, we've got rid of a block of wood, I think. And that's what they would have seen. And obviously, yes, these are grassy mounds, so Minecraft is doing just the right thing in grassing it over. And now if we try and get out of here, and I'm a bit kind of stuck now because I put the fences and the ditches in. But if we just quickly run around to this side so we can have a quick look at how, maybe up here by this bear, I'm sorry, you're going to get more growling again. And then you can start to see how it would have had this kind of, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. You can start to see how you would have had this wooden frontispiece. I've just put the skulls on there to make it look pretty. And maybe now that we're not approaching it at night, and I don't want it to be quite so dramatic, we could even put a couple of torches on to kind of, you know, guide people in, as it were. If I'm very careful, how's that? And we can put, it won't let me put one on the slab, will it? But you know, we could have like torches like this so that people know. Oh, we need one. So, have I done that evenly? Yep, so then people know, you know, what they're approaching, and it's like, oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, because of my mad copying and pasting, I think I've made that a little bit uneven in places. But you still get the overall idea of, like, you know, you're approaching something big here, and at night that will just look... Actually, you know what, I might even go back a few and just do like a line so that it kind of welcomes you in. So I'll just time set this back to night time. I'm just kind of roughly doing this. So then this would have been a big kind of... No, 1/. Right, look at keys, learn to type. Oh, look at sunset. So that will give you a great big illuminated area at the front ready to go and bury your ancestors. And as I say, when I'm not on camera, I will go around and I will... You know, that is just going to bug me. I'm just going to very quickly put some birch wood in there. Make it look a little bit more even. I've made a right mess of that, haven't I? That's nowhere near even at all. I can pop a torch on there. Yeah, that looks nicer, doesn't it? So there we are. That is... Well, I'm going to say that's a barrow, but in truth, like I say, nobody really knows. Because obviously if they were all built of wood and bone and things like that, like this, then... Oh, it's going to look funny. Yeah, I've got slabs on the roof, so when I bury it, it's going to look really strange. Like I say, nobody really knows. These things were great big earthen mounds 5,000 years ago. And then, over 5,000 years, people ploughed them, it rained, the mud ran away, you know, all sorts of things happened, and... Okay, that was weird. I have no idea what that sound was at all. Maybe it's some ghosts in my barrow. But yes, these were great big earthen mounds that would have grassed over, and then gradually over the years, you know, there would have been a heavy storm and some mud would have run off the top. People would have ploughed them. If there were stones, quite often farmers just tended to come along and steal the stones and use them for like making farmhouses and lintels and gates and things. Oh, it's my feet echoing on the wood. That's quite amazing. And of course, because I'm using slabs, as everybody knows, they're leaking light. So that's my kind of best guess interpretation. What I will do now is I will bury this one. I will make a series of these, I think. I will check the dates, and I will bury it and I will dot them around the landscape so that when we come to actually start on Stonehenge, which I think should be next. Yeah, next video I will be starting to do the ditch and bank system and maybe part of the avenue around Stonehenge. And I'll go and look up in some books and check the dates, but I might put a few barrows around it as well. Oh yeah, that's looking quite... That's looking quite nice now, isn't it? Apart from the inevitable Minecraft floating bricks. I'll just do this line and then I'll go around to the other side and I'll see how that looks. I can be as scrappy as I like, because really what I'm doing is I'm just tipping soil all over it. Get rid of that. There we are. See, there we are. It's kind of buried. I'm kind of regretting a little bit using slabs now. But, no, I'm quite happy with that. As ever, this has been a bit of a shorter video. Not much building, just a bit of kind of showing you around what I have built. Thank you for watching. Like I say, if this is something you like, you can always subscribe. Do leave me comments. It's quite a lonely job sometimes, sat here just talking to myself and playing Minecraft. So do leave me comments, like, subscribe, talk about it on Facebook, tell your friends, all that kind of stuff. And, well, this is good. This has not been 6 months, it's been a week. So hopefully I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.